So we'll draw upon Isabel Beck's work and all the work around tiers of vocabulary. And many people have seen this, but I still feel as though we could go a lot further with our understanding of the tiers of vocabulary and have real structure and not just leave it to hope and luck that we're going to teach them and a will, but more of a strategic and rigorous approach, an academic approach to teaching vocabulary. So in summary, it's a really, this is a really good diagram Lauren's created around tier 1, thinking about basic vocabulary such as book, girl and run, functional language you need to use in everyday life. But that's not enough. So we have tier 2, which are what we call the high frequency multiple meaning vocabulary that are elaborative and descriptive. And so some examples here would be words which you could transfer into other situations like society or absorb. Now, the problem with tier 2 is that we make assumptions and we walk into lessons as teachers and we assume that just by exposing to children to these words, they will understand them. And that, I think, is a thing we can improve dramatically. And what we need to do is make sure if we're teaching these specific words, such as society in the context of, say, studying an ancient civilization, maybe an ancient river civilization, the Egyptians, for example, then if we're going to use the word society, we need to make sure children understand that word. Because if we want to overload the working memory, leave it alone, just wander into the lesson with it, and then include it in your comprehension and your writing, and then children will be trying to decode, decipher as they are taking part in the studies. So we recommend direct instruction of vocabulary at the start of every lesson. A few words really well taught will give them a leader into that lesson, and that will enable them to use and practice those words instead of discover them. And cognitive science does not support discovery learning when the content is new. And as Lauren said, there are millions of words. There's lots of new words. We need to teach them. So we need to teach these words, which are tier 2 words, which are multiple meaning, high frequency. And the beautiful thing about these words is they are transferable. You can use them in different situations. And so you can take them with you. You bag them and then you can use them. And that will increase your vocabulary. Tier 3 words are lower frequency, subject-specific language that is part of a particular study or domain. Professional words such as Paleolithic, esophagus, or sarcophagus. Words you would use in the context of a study. And they are useful to really help explain and use. And we're going to show you some videos in a moment of children starting to talk and use these words, but they've been taught them first. And children absolutely love taking words to bits. They love it. So, I mean, you've got connections here. Esophagus means to eat, but when you look at sarcophagus, if you just sort of blasé say sarcophagus in a lesson, then firstly, it's hard to say. Secondly, it's hard to spell. Thirdly, what does it mean? So what we need to do is teach that word and break it down as well. Know, say it, love it, use all the systems Lauren's just explained, but really start thinking about what this word actually means. So sarc means, flesh. Esophagus means eating. So a sarcophagus is a flesh eater. So a coffin made of stone or metal that eats flesh. Wow, you've got people hooked in. And words like this really help with memory because they give them structure. And once you know what the word means, then you'll understand more about that word. But Paleolithic, you'll see later on how children deconstruct it after learning through the 5 phases of explicit vocabulary instruction. So in summary, tier 1, functional words, everyday words. Tier 2, your elaborative, descriptive, multiple meaning words, really important. Tier 3, subject-specific professional words, which are in context. And that all of these, tier 2 and tier 3, need to be explicitly taught there. So that's which words. So we're not leaving it to luck. What we're doing is we're integrating them systematically into the learning modules we're writing. So here's a part of a learning module, and this part is the knowledge organizer. So knowledge organizers aren't just a thing to do, and I've been tweeting recently about don't use them as a tactic. They should be part of a strategy. Here they are in a strategy of knowledge, vocabulary, systems of learning, sequences of learning, and resources to teach from. And if you're interested, that comes from our Curriculum with Unity Schools partnership. So go and have a look at our website there. But what you'll notice here is that we are deliberate with our choices around language. So we'll be using Sphinx, for example. We'll be using language like hieroglyphs, or introducing, thinking about different pharaohs like Mentuhotep II, thinking about Akhenaten, and all of those are really important names of pharaohs. And so these knowledge organisers really construct the tier 3 language, and we also identify the tier 2 vocabulary. So we are very clear about what words are going to support children in their learning of this amazing historical study.